Hello, I now have a fringe. What do we think? Let me know. So in today's video, I'm going to be whizzing through 5 feminist key terms. These are the kind of terms you want to know as a feminist in 2021. I'm also going to explain the difference between sexism and misogyny. This seems to be a common area of confusion. I didn't know the meaning of a lot of feminist terms for a long time. Quite bad considering I make these kind of videos, but yeah, for a long time. It wasn't until recently that I learned some of the basic ones, so you're not alone if you don't know. Not knowing the terms or whatever doesn't make you any less of a feminist. It just makes it harder to understand, you know, if you want to read feminist books, or it just kind of limits you in conversations that I think need to be had more. So yeah, I do think it's useful to know this stuff. Okay, let's get into it before I start babbling on some more. Okay, so the first key term is internalized sexism. Internalized sexism can be defined as sexist acts directed towards women by other women. You can even do it to yourself. So these acts can be frequently nasty comments that jeopardize a woman's reputation. A classic example is women judging other women for their sexual history. You know, the old, what's her body count? Oh, she gets around a lot. That's disgusting. This is internalized sexism, shaming other women for the amount of people they've slept with. Or maybe shaming women for their appearance. This is actually really common, especially in school. Her legs are huge. Her nose is too big. She is so flat-chested. She dresses like a prostitute. Oh my gosh, this needs to stop. Okay, so the next key term is the male gaze. For those of you that have studied or who are currently studying media or film, you may already know this term. Or if you've read Women Don't Know You Pretty by Florence Given, you may also know this term. I'm going to quickly remind you what this means because it's one of my favourite theories. Laura Mulvey coined the male gaze theory. This theory recognises that women are often recognised and depicted as sexual objects in the media, kind of sexual satisfaction for men. She specifically refers to women being sexualised in film. She recognises that the cinema, so producers and filmmakers, are very concerned with the heterosexual male viewer. Therefore, we often see women being portrayed as passive sexual objects of male desire. Her theory is still relevant today. I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's so interesting and important to look at how women are also encouraged to watch these films and watch other women being portrayed in these really hypersexualized manners. I play with my hair a lot in videos. Must be quite annoying. I kind of like my eyebrows to be showing because then it shapes my face. What do we think? Okay, next key term is patriarchy. Patriarchy is a system that means men hold more power in society. It disregards the needs of women, and it's exactly what feminists are looking to abolish. Feminists more specifically refer to patriarchy as male domination in public and private spheres. Patriarchy is a social system, a system that affords men privileges. For example, freedom to work without discrimination based on their gender. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Next key terms, we've got sexism and misogyny, and then I'm going to go on to say the difference between the two. I actually didn't really know this until recently. It wasn't really that clear, so yeah, you're not alone in struggling to define the two and separate the two. It's actually something that I think a lot of people struggle with, so don't get too worried about being able to distinguish between the two, but I will help you anyway. So many feminists describe sexism as prejudice or discrimination against women based on their gender. So this can encompass a lot of bad behaviours, from stereotyping to sexual harassment. So if I describe a man as sexist, it doesn't necessarily mean that he hates women. For example, a guy might share something sexist on social media, like the statement, "Women can't drive." This demonstrates that he is sexist, but not necessarily that he hates women. Now, misogyny is an outlook. Now, through my research, it's become clear that misogyny is more dark and sinister than sexism. Misogynists are set in their ways. They have deep hatred and disrespect for women. So, misogynists are always sexist, but if someone's sexist, they may not always be a misogynist. Trying to film here, can you stop making noise? So, a man might repeat something he heard when watching a dated film, something sexist, but he may still see women as an equal and not have any hatred towards women. Sexism reflects disrespect towards women as opposed to deep-rooted anger. Sexism sounds like, oh, she's a woman, she can make you a sandwich. Misogyny sounds like, oh, she's a woman, she better make me a sandwich, or I will make her. That's what she's here for, to feed men and children. So I think to simplify it, you should think of sexism as disrespecting women, and you should think of misogyny as hatred towards women. So disrespect and hatred. Sexism, misogyny. The two terms can blur so often, so it can be very confusing. I hope I explained it all right, but don't worry about distinguishing the two. I haven't really run into any trouble trying to debate people on TikTok. They're usually very uneducated men that are just angry, misogynists. But you don't deserve to be labelled as the good guy because you haven't sexually assaulted a woman. It's these really vocal men that do the bare minimum that really annoy me. Stop playing the victim and acknowledge who the real victims are in this situation. So, sexism is the pond in which misogyny flourishes, and because the water is so murky, you sometimes don't even notice how healthy it grows. And because it is growing in water, it sometimes reflects back at you as love instead of hate. Last key term is chauvinism. A male chauvinist thinks he is superior to women just because he's a man. I know, crazy, but these creeps do exist. This arrogant and illogical perspective stems from an irrational support for men. This is another term that can blur with sexism and misogyny. They all get confused, but yeah, this is really stemming from viewing men as just superior in every form, just men are amazing. A bit like people who are really like patriotic, like America is amazing. America. I'm just probably confusing. I'm just going to stop. That's it. I hope you feel a bit more cleared up on those feminist terms. A lot needs to change, and through language, I think we can bring about a lot of change. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Please comment down below if you want to share any more feminist terms. Please subscribe. Please like, share and comment as well, and hit the little bell down below. Post every Wednesday and every Friday. Au revoir.